Grazie a tutti. E vedo questa signora con I fiori gialli. È brava.
Welcome back to GMA3. That is, of course, Pope Francis making his very first public appearance in weeks now, even saying a few words to cheering crowds outside the hospital there in Rome.
It was good to see him. The 88-year-old pontiff has been battling double pneumonia for the past 5 weeks and was discharged from the hospital Sunday. And joining us now from London with the latest on this story is ABC's Marcus Moore. Marcus, always good to see you. We'll start with this. The Pope looks like he's doing well. So what's the latest about his journey and on his condition when it comes to his health?
Yeah, hey, DeMarco and Rhiannon, good to be with you. So the Pope does appear to be doing well, but he also seems very fragile still. And, you know, it was a very difficult journey for him, one with so many ups and downs. The Pope went into the hospital on February 14th, suffering from bronchitis. And that illness developed into pneumonia in both of his lungs. In fact, during his stay, he suffered an asthma attack and needed high-flow oxygen to breathe, but he was never intubated. Still, doctors were quite concerned about his prognosis. Doctors also saying that he overcame 2 life-threatening crises during his stay. And throughout most of his stay, they remained quite reserved about his prognosis, given the seriousness of his illness and also his age. As you know, he's 88 years old. But after 38 days in the hospital, he emerged on that balcony and waved to people. Really, prayers answered for them.
Oh, such a nice sight to see, Marcus. And let's talk about this because he's been ordered to rest and recover. But we know the Pope loves to work. He loves to be out among the faithful. So when can we expect to see him back at work?
Well, he's been working throughout this entire ordeal, Rhiannon, and we don't know specifics at this point. The Vatican has been quite guarded about his work, but we do know that he has continued some of his work duties from the hospital, including often making his routine calls to the parish in Gaza, as well as making some administrative appointments. And it was important to the Vatican that that people know that the Pope, while he was suffering from this illness, was still able to carry on with some of his duties as the leader of the Catholic Church. Now, what we have heard from one cardinal in a report is that the Pope will have to find another way of being Pope, less visible, less active, and that he won't be able to travel as much, and he will also won't be able to attend a number of meetings. But in terms of how much work he'll be able to do at the Vatican, all of that depends on his recovery.
And Marcus, aside from his words on the balcony, did he have anything else to share with the public?
Well, we do know that he has offered his reflections. He hasn't offered his usual Angelus prayer on Sundays, but he does offer reflections, including one about recent events. The Pope saying that he was saddened by the resumption of heavy fighting and bombings in the Gaza Strip by Israel. And he called for, quote, a silencing of the weapons and for peace talks between Israel and Hamas to resume, and so that all of the hostages are freed and a definitive ceasefire is reached. So that's a bit of what he said in his reflections recently, DeMarco.
It's been such a long 5 weeks, and we're so glad he seems to be doing so much better. But it's led to a lot of speculation about who might one day succeed him. Where does that conversation now go from here?
Yeah, those conversations were happening before he went into the hospital, but for the moment, Rhiannon, there's no talk about that. By all accounts, the Vatican has indicated that the Pope is capable of doing his job. Then the question comes, if he's unable to work, would he delegate more of his duties or would he even resign? But at the moment, the church is functioning, and the Pope has never indicated that he would want to resign. It's not the precedent that he wants to set. He's given the strong signals that he is still the leader of the Catholic Church.
All right, Marcus Moore there live for us. Thank you so much
Good to
for
see
that.
you, Marcus.